I want to warn the country of some things that give me great concern. Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights and freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead. We see the consequences all across America. We've seen it before. More than a century ago, the American people stood up to the robber barons back then and busted the trusts. They didn't punish the wealthy. They just made the wealthy pay by
figure it out. That's why we're not winning, is because Netflix stock isn't high enough. That's the only way to win. I want to kill my neighbors and burn them alive and blow up my car, but it's okay because Netflix is worth $3 trillion. I want to cut my cock off and scramble my brain with fucking fluoride. I'm gonna win because Netflix is worth $3 trillion.
Person who is about to grab their car keys and go to the ATM and take out $3,000, you say what?
You don't need to. Your ATM is safe, your banks are safe, there's enough cash in the financial system, and there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. We will do whatever we need to do to make sure that there's enough cash in the banking system.
It's not worth focusing on for too long. I gotta look at the silver price. Yeah, there's a big cycle low coming up. We're about to load up in a couple weeks, but we'll cover that in a minute.
True. All right. The the fall of American society is inconsequential to the glorious future.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Lose or win in America, we're still moving towards the same end. So I want you to share your screen now, and let's get into the real meat and potatoes of our
All right.
economy.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna stop my share, let you take the reins, baby girl.
All right. I'll just let's see, built-in display. All right. I'll just go through the charts first and talk about what I'm seeing, and what I've heard, what I've researched, and then maybe we'll go in deep with some gold research, and yeah. All right. Going over to Bitcoin, and I'll pull up. I have Camel Finance's cycle PDF, and I will, maybe I shouldn't, but there's nobody on the Discord, so usually it would cost $20, but I'll see if I can find the file and post it on there for free. But let's see. I have some stuff I'll reference in it. All right. So, sorry, I'm not used to using the I'm not used to using it on this computer. Let's see though. All right, I don't really have many of the cycles charted before this year, but let's see. What the hell is going on? All right, I'm gonna go to the hour chart, and I'll go back to full screen. All right, everybody can see this good?
Yep.
All right. Dang it, maybe I should just use the other computer.
Well, I can see it good. I'm pretty sure
I'm gonna be on screen share a lot. Okay, there we go. I'll just pull up 6 months. And so if you're using the cycles, Bitcoin basically has 54 to 66 day daily cycle, which is, if we take our measurement tool, that's just right here, 62 days, and you'll usually get a significant low that'll fall within that range. If you want to see like a good system for cycle trading, you can just find the video on Camel Finance's channel. I won't really go into it too deep here, but right now what is happening, what looks to be happening, and we would use this low here, is now that we've had this very significant reversal out of it, this low right here is what I would use as invalidation and say the bull market's probably over. I don't think it is. I think we have another weekly cycle, if not maybe another 2 weekly cycles of bull market left. So another, at least another few months. And from that, I would expect to see Bitcoin double. Because I'll go out to the year now.
Within the next couple of months?
Yeah. And a double from that 80,000 would be about 160,000. So I'd probably look to take major sells in the 150 to 160,000 range. And then after I sell, I'd be looking to reposition out. Probably late 2026 is where I'd be buying as much as I can, because we have these 4-year cycles denoted with the purple arrows I have here. But then anyway, if we come in, we can basically see every time we get a weekly low with the blue arrows, and also this this purple arrow is a 4-year low, but I should have a blue arrow in there too as a weekly low. So we move up, we get a consolidation, and we can see that's about 25,000, moves up to about 50,000, a doubling. And then, from there we have, let's see, what's that? 40,000, moves up to 73,000. From the low here, we have 50,000, moves up to 100,000. So we usually get a double after these consolidations so far in this cycle. It could change, but so far we don't have a reason to really expect anything different. I've only really started using the system in the last year, so this was like the first time I entered was back in July and August last year where I entered, and I'm still holding most of the Bitcoin I bought there. I took a little sell at 100,000, and then I just started rebuying this week. I bought a lot of silver, and I don't have extra money till I get my next paycheck. So otherwise I would have added on, once we started making higher highs and we got above 85,000. And I did signal that I got a small entry in the Discord, but probably this Thursday when I get paid, I'll try to look for a lower high and just enter wherever I can, because 90,000 is still a great price if we got 160,000 on the table, if not higher, in the next year.
Yeah, I came in. So this is a little embarrassing for me to say, but I am a little late to the Bitcoin party.
Hey, if you're getting in, I think in a long-term scale, we're still very early. Like if you look at, let's see if I can pull up.
1 second, I'll be back.
All right. Oh, I should pause it. My bad. There we go.
Yeah. I didn't really start buying Bitcoin until this year. Just get in where you fit in. Buy in the lows. They're pretty apparent. It's not really rocket science.
Yeah.
It's buy low and hold. I'm not really planning on selling anything. There's no reason to sell right now.
Yeah.
There's obvious like peaks and lows and where it's gonna go. And listen to Rowan, because he's better at finding them.
Yeah.
And finding out where to go.
We'll try to keep you updated as best we can, but there's people like Bob Lucas, Camel Finance, that understand this way better than we do, and all those links will be on the Discord, or you can just look them up on YouTube. And I think Bob Lucas, he only buys or sells on a yearly basis. He's not in the weekly charts with the plebs, and he still has made a ridiculous amount of money doing that in the past years. He just has his system down that so much, when most people are watching small time frames and constantly buying in and stopping out. But yeah, this is a great place to buy, I think. And let me go back. And I think really everybody, if you're getting in here now, you're getting in really early. Because if we look at,
I mean, there's only one option. There's only one option you could do if you're not in already, is you just get in where you fit in. You kind of do have to play those weekly lows and stuff, just so you could set yourself up to be more of a yearly or monthly buyer and seller. I don't know. It's kind of hard to get in the big pond.
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely need to check out those Camel Finance, do some more research.
Yeah, because if you can roughly get these 4-year cycles, you're gonna be increasing what you make in the next years of Bitcoin by exponentially. But still, even if you just bought and hold for the next 20 years, I think you're gonna do very well. Because this is the adoption S curve reflects the cumulative rate at which a population adopts a new technology or product. Here's what it looks like relative to Bitcoin. So we're still, maybe we weren't the early adopters, or the innovators, but this is the early majority, and we probably have a ways to go. And we can, let's see. I'm sure there's a better chart with this. I don't think this one shows Bitcoin, but this happens with every new technology. Is it slowly starts and then there's an exponential rise. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, I get what you're saying now.
There's everything else from cars and the internet and refrigerators. That's not on there, but basically all that, everything. So it really has a similar curve. We're early.
Yeah. Bitcoin will become, I guess, more of a necessity.
Yeah.
I think because I don't know. It makes sense. Those cars became more of a necessity. Phones became more of a necessity. Bitcoin will become the same way.
Especially if there's a big debt issue. I'll cover that after I go through all the charts, I guess. But I think a lot of money will be driven there. Yeah. Let's see.
Definitely like a lot of mistrust in like the dollar now.
Yeah.
Not even just now, like people been saying that.
For sure. Well, I'll cover a couple other things with Bitcoin actually. FOMO Finder, this is always a good thing to look at, which we're actually at panic now. We'll see if the chart's down here. It hasn't actually swung to panic, but this basically the FOMO Finder combines the funding rate of futures, premiums, or lack thereof to identify the market's underlying emotion. Greed FOMO signals are used to signal profit-taking opportunities on longs. Panic and capitulation signals are used to take profit on shorts or enter long positions. So that's just, you can use these different tools to kind of see if you're in a good place to buy. Liquidation heat map. This is where there's a lot of Bitcoin supply is going to be freed up, and Bitcoin will generally move in those directions and eventually hit them. We can look at like a 48-hour, like a near-term chart. And
do you ever look at what's going on with like Bitcoin mining?
I don't really.
Yeah,
probably should.
Yeah, I probably should too. I don't know. There's a lot of concerns about it, as far as I know, environmentally, but I don't really know too much past that.
Yeah. Well, eventually it'll be over, pretty much.
Yeah.
There will be so many halvings, and then there will basically be no Bitcoin left.
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll just go to the month. For some reason it's taking a minute. There we go. So we've basically taken all this liquidity below us. I don't know why it's not letting me move this, but most of the liquidity is above us, and I would expect we'll move up maybe past 100,000 before we have another little pullback. But really, in the big picture, it's not much to worry about. And we're just looking to take a lot of profit off at 100,000 or at 150, 160,000, which will probably, let's see, probably be something like this. And then see if it'll still let me draw once I pull this out. Well, I don't have the charts figured out very good on this computer. Let me see. Anyway, somewhere I would like to draw it, but whatever. Somewhere out in, let me just delete this. All right. You know, we'll probably see something out way up. I can't draw that high because I don't know how to work the screen, but up to 160,000 area, and then October will be the next weekly cycle low. Because the green arrows are daily cycle lows, and then we're going to look for a weekly cycle low. October, and another bounce up is likely, maybe make a new all-time high, and then that's likely the last one, and we'll enter a bear market into next year, and then likely start to look at buying later on that year or the next year out at this arrow. Let's see, what else was I going to cover? Liquidity. There was something else, but let's see if I have it pulled up here. I'll go through a couple charts of Bitcoin miners. Let's see. FOMO. Oh, open interest. I should pull that up too, which is basically how much leverage there is in the market. And you'll generally, if you're looking for a move to the upside, you want to see open interest come down a lot, and a lot of people get liquidated, and a lot of leverage come out of the market. A lot of people selling. All right. This is probably going to be another situation where this chart's all funky, but.
All right, so what are we looking at here? It's different.
So this upper section is open interest, or the upper section is Bitcoin. The lower one is open interest.
Okay.
And
what is that exactly?
So it's like all the leverage in the market, all the people are using. It basically just means if you see this go really low, it means a lot of people got taken out of the market, and it's going to set up Bitcoin to move higher. I don't know. Press and hold Ctrl while zooming to maintain chart position. Okay. I should know how to work this better before I come on here. All right, whatever. Anyway, if you want to see someone who knows how to do this, Crypto Cobra covered this a lot in his channel. But yeah, basically before we see a huge, a low form and getting ready to make a big move up, we'll usually see a low come in and open interest.
So that's people coming into the market?
It's people getting taken out of the market if you see a low come in, and then people coming into the market if you're seeing a high down here in this lower chart.
What does that mean, going out and coming in, like buying and selling?
Yeah, it means they're selling. And there's here, I'll just look up definition of open interest. But from my understanding, it's just people who are trading on leverage and options and stuff, and they're getting taken out of the market. because there's a price drop in Bitcoin, and a lot of people got cleared out of the market, and Bitcoin's ready to make a move to the upside because the sellers are out for the most part. Open interest is the number of outstanding contracts for derivatives such as futures or options that have not been settled. It's a measure of market activity and is used to gauge the strength of price trends. So, and if you likewise, if you're seeing a huge spike in open interest, eventually you're going to see that come down. People get taken out.
For sure.
But now that we've covered Bitcoin, kind of given my base case there, which is
what's your closing thoughts on the next couple of months regarding Bitcoin? We can move on to silver.
Yeah, and I'm really basically I'm just good to buy anywhere in here, and probably unless new information comes out, which I wouldn't really pay attention to news and stuff, but if there's major invalidation or we see below this low in the charts, I might sell, but otherwise I'm targeting 150, 160 to sell some, or probably most, and then maybe see if we get another high out of that to sell it all. And then what I'll probably do is I'll buy a lot of like MSTZ, which is the inverse of MicroStrategy, that's leveraged a little bit, and just look to kind of short Bitcoin and MicroStrategy through that. To the downside, and then I'll look to sell that and start rebuying Bitcoin miners and Bitcoin in likely 2026, 2027. I also bought some XRP this last week, and I did signal that in the or post that in the Discord.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Which I only have like, I'll disclose it's not a lot of money that I'm putting into Bitcoin. I'm planning just to get up to $1,000 put in Bitcoin, and I have and maybe put another 100 in XRP. I have like $100 in XRP right now.
Yeah, like with Bitcoin.
So I usually just put percents up and stuff in the Discord, just so if you have less money or more money than you're putting into me, you can use that as a gauge for
each time I've bought Bitcoin's usually only been about like $50 each time, just within those lows. But might bump those numbers up a little bit, or take that extra money and move it into like XRP or silver.
Yeah.
But with the XRP, I feel like you have to be a little bit more like attentive to it, huh? Like
yeah, it's a little bit more speculative, but I feel like we're gonna see it outperform.
Is it like a more volatile market, or?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know that much about it. Maybe it's evil.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's evil,
but
what's evil about it?
I don't know. Just that it's not Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But it's the only other coin I'm holding right now, and I like it. I think, I would probably
have you seen
I'd
any
probably
like
look for $4 or $5 to get hit.
Real returns from it?
What is it?
Have you seen any like real returns from it?
Yeah, because I bought back. Where did I buy?
You started off early in it, huh?
Yeah, I only put like $20 in.
Oh.
And I got like $20 to like 50 or 60.
So XRP is kind of like the practice girl for Bitcoin.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But I'm still putting a little bit in, and I expect we probably see it double, get $4 or $5 from. I think we're at $2 right now.
Oh.
But that's optional. Really, I would just focus on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And I also am full size in a lot of Bitcoin miners. There's way too much going on in this chart, but I'm not trading MicroStrategy anymore. I feel like it made its top and I made my money in there. I don't know why these charts have been so wonky. I should probably use my other computer.
Is that like a MicroStrategy? Is that like the weekly and daily? stuff?
MicroStrategy it's a Bitcoin. It's like a software company, I think. They're basically just the first company to start adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet, or like using their
Oh,
profits to buy Bitcoin. So it's sort of like a Bitcoin.
based
It's just hype.
company.
I don't really know what it is, but I made a lot of money in it.
Nice.
Anyway, this is Riot. I sold all my MicroStrategy, but I did buy a lot of Riot recently. I just don't know why this won't resize. What the fuck? There we go. Alright, I probably have too much going on in this chart, but I've been tracking Riot a lot because I think we're going to see really outsized returns from Bitcoin miners in the next few months. Kemosabe has price targets for Riot at like $44, which would be pretty crazy. Because I was entering this last week. I got in full size at like $10 or something. Down in this area. I think because I bought some higher up, so I think I have an average of like 10 or something. But this is honestly below this median line here on the pitchfork I drew. I think is a great price, around $10, and it might be higher. I'd buy it $12. I'd buy it whatever. I think it goes a lot higher from here.
Okay.
So I have a
So is Riot something
position in Riot and half size in Mara so far. Sorry.
So for someone who doesn't have holdings in either of those, what would be the first steps? Do you think this is something to get into?
Yeah, I would still get into them personally.
Yeah.
Or this is not financial advice. That's what I'm supposed to say. But
yeah.
Okay. I think we see a lot higher as the final stage of the bull market really start to get euphoric and people start to go crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got in half size on Mara this last week, and I think it could go to like 50, and
yeah. I think I'll stick with the meme coins, but
13 right now. Well, I feel like the meme coins are just scams, and like most of it's over.
No, of course I'm playing.
Yeah, I know. But, like Camel's been saying, like, I don't know, that's all hype, and at least Riot and Mara, they're Bitcoin mining companies, so
it directly translates to the gold.
And,
our
and
gold or
their
Bitcoin.
profits will translate to how well Bitcoin's doing. Like, it's actually, I don't know, it's based.
Is it pretty direct how they correlate?
It's weird. It's not always over a long period of time. Yeah, it is. But
for now, they're just kind of their own thing to focus on.
It's just a good way. Like, if you have a good idea of where the cycles are going, it is a good way to harvest a little extra returns than you would otherwise get. But I mean, if we go to the all-time chart on Mara, you can see it gets pretty euphoric at times. Like this stuff was, we probably won't see that again.
So when you say euphoric, that just means like people
120. What is it?
When you say euphoric, does that just mean like a bunch of people getting hyped and
yeah, basically it basically just means the disgusting public that they talk about in Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars.
The proletarians.
Yeah. Or wait, are the Yeah. They're all getting in basically at the top. And that's gonna be about the end of it. But you're gonna see some crazy prices in there.
Yeah.
Because your mindset, if you're doing this stuff, it should be, I'm gonna have the same attitude when everything's going well as when it isn't. And I'm not, you should be buying when everything's boring. And you should be keeping your mindset as boring as possible when everything else is hyped up.
Are you kind of saying too, like, try not to be so much like outcome dependent?
Yeah. True. That's another thing I would like to focus on is like, If you focus on the process more, the profits and all the other stuff you want, that's gonna come with it. You just gotta focus on,
the bigger picture.
Because you could take some risks, you could do some stupid stuff, and you might win, but you're not gonna win forever with doing that. You're gonna lose eventually.
And you can't get too caught up in the loss.
Yeah, you gotta have a boring system, and you gotta stick with it.
Yeah, definitely. Because I've had my fair share of losses trying to invest.
Yeah.
And you can't be too outcome dependent. You got to keep it pushing.
And also
in a different kind of sense,
I mean, those positions that I have on, Bitcoin's different. I feel comfortable holding a lot of Bitcoin, and a lot more comfortable than I do having money in the bank account. As long as if you're holding a lot of Bitcoin, you definitely want to get like a don't hold it on an exchange. I got a little Trezor wallet, so I think in it's like a physical,
so it's
wallet that you'll download your Bitcoin into.
Can we talk about that for a second?
You can personally hold it. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know that much about it. I would just like to be able to hold it myself.
Yeah. So
in 2026, I'll probably put a lot of the stuff I buy onto that.
So a Bitcoin wallet could be like either digital or like on a hard drive or like a thumb drive. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
So because I've been kind of interested, maybe, I don't know, having like a Bitcoin wallet like that instead of because the way I see it, like buying and trading on Robinhood is different than like actually having the, a wallet or something else to hold it in.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable holding stuff on an exchange for very long, and I would go into that with silver and gold too, because there's a lot of interesting stuff happening there. Yeah. But I should clarify what the Mara and the Riot positions. I have it, and I don't know if this is the best system to use. Everybody can use their own system based on how much risk they want to take. But I only do like 10% of my total trading account per stock.
Yeah.
And I would only do 20% per asset class. So if I had $1,000 in it, for example, in a trading account, I'd only do like $100 max per each of those, and $200 $200 total for Bitcoin miners. I wouldn't go over that and just have all my money in one area.
Yeah.
And then once I did
diversifying your assets.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll just use what Camel does and use a 2% stop loss. So if I lost more than $20 in any of those, I would just stop the entire position, and I could re-enter later. That way you make sure you don't do anything stupid and you don't take big losses, because I mean, that's something he really kind of puts in perspective in here, is that, if you take a 1% loss, you only really need a 1% gain to get it back.
Yeah.
And then, once you're taking a 6% loss, you need a 6.4% gain to get it back. Once you take a 20% loss, you need a 25% gain to get it back. And then once you're taking, a 50% loss, you need a 100% gain to get it back.
So it's kind of like locking yourself out of the market. Once you take that huge loss, it's like, well, you're gonna have to work really hard or might not even be able to get back what you lost.
Yeah, it's really unlikely.
I've never, especially with 50 and you have to make 100% back. You're just locked out of the market.
Yeah. You kind of gotta take your ego out of it and be like, all right, I don't know what's gonna happen here, but you gotta treat it like a system, like a business. That's like, this isn't about me being smart or whatever. It's just about,
it's not get rich quick either.
Yeah.
That goes back to what I was saying about those like our generation of kids getting into finance and shit. Is a lot of it is just trying to get rich quick.
Yeah, a lot of it's just find a scam. They don't really care
coins,
about
scam. It's not investing, it's like scamming.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
But the way you're presenting everything to me is like it seems very professional and good for the overall culture of like, I don't know, people investing. They're like this seems like a pretty good way to go about it.
Yeah, nice.
But instead of like rushing into like all kinds of weirdo shit.
Yeah.
Let's look at some silver. I'm interested to see, and gold too.
All right, I'll pull up gold first, because I mean they're very
They coincide.
very correlated markets. Yeah. And we can see the same thing with gold. You can kind of see it on my charts, but Camel has it in this PDF too. So I don't know why I call it a PDF. I have it printed out, but let's see. Yearly cycles for gold are about every 8 years. So 2000, 2008, 2016, and then we're still early in this yearly cycle since 2023. So the next time we would expect a significant low is, what would that be? 2030, 2031 probably. Anyway, if we zoom in here, I'm definitely looking to buy a lot of gold in the next, well, for me, a lot of gold and silver in the next few weeks, as we're going to see this daily cycle coming in. Daily cycles for gold are about every 22, 28 days. And then weekly cycles is every 22, 26 weeks. The blue arrows are the weekly cycles. But
and that's between like lows.
Yeah, that's where lows are going to come in.
So it looks right there. That's an area of interest.
Yeah. Anyway, this is where I'm looking to buy. It's probably like 2,800 down there.
So within this month, we're gonna have a good
and I would say
position
early
to
this
buy.
month. And I'll probably look to buy a little bit more mining stocks, and then a lot of physical gold and silver. Really what you want to wait for is a breakout of a downtrend, which should probably be this one, I guess. What we'll probably see is like a drive up in here somewhere.
And then, okay. So it's going to go up and then down, or is it going to go down?
A lot of times what we see in a cycle low is like a 2 drives pattern. So you'll see a drive down, and then we'll probably see a little bit up and another drive down into here.
Okay.
And then what you want to see for confirmation is a big uptrend start. But honestly, with this
would it be a good
here, I would feel comfortable just buying at like 2,800, 2,750.
That's kind of what I was thinking, like kind of just wait that drive out until it goes back down into that area you're talking about.
Yeah, and then once we see this line cleared, we know we're probably breaking out to the upside.
Okay. I'm gonna set that on my watch list right now then.
Nice.
Kind of see. What were you saying you wanted to buy at, maybe?
Like
give me like a range.
Who knows? It might not go lower, but like anywhere near 2,800 would be great. Here, I'll go back to gold really quick. Yeah, what would that be? If we did come back and retest this line, we might get 2,750. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But I'm not too worried about it, because like physical gold, I'm just going to be buying and I'm going to be holding for the next 10 years. And I think we're going to see pretty ridiculous returns just by doing that. Actually, that's not true, but in general, I'm holding long term.
So this is kind of a dumb question, but like, is this chart, does that directly affect like the price of physical gold?
Yeah. Oh, no,
Okay.
well, that's a really good thing to go
Oh,
into.
it even says right there dollars to ounce.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Also, because I think we're gonna see, this is what Camel's been talking about, is that we're gonna see like huge returns on gold, and then when there's probably gonna be a stock market crash, probably towards the end of this year, 2026, and you'll probably see everything fall a lot, and I would expect we'll see gold and silver fall like 30%. There's going to be a lot of returns in the meantime, but I'll probably look to sell a lot during that time and then reposition after the crash and start buying up gold and silver again there.
Yeah.
That's a ways off, but yeah. All right, I'll go to silver now. I've been tracking silver a little bit better.
So has gold and silver, they've been following the same kind of trends? Or what's
Yeah.
Obviously they're their own thing, but
I think silver has a lot of catching up to do. And I think it's
Yeah.
been suppressed maybe even more than gold has.
yeah. Does it I don't know about gold, but I know silver, like I guess it doesn't really matter because but like with technological advancements, silver doesn't really change its position, even stuff like that. Like I heard like if we're using more silver, it doesn't directly correlate to the price of silver rising or falling. It's not really it's not really locked into supply and demand as much.
I think it should be. I think it's not based on the paper markets. I'll go into that in a second because that's most of what I've been researching the last couple days. But anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if we see from here, if we see a major breakout and we see like $40, $50 this year from where we're at $30. But right now, with silver, this weekly cycle low, I'd like to see a drive down to $30, but really I'd just like to buy anywhere in here. I found a guy here in Bellingham who it seems like is legit that's selling a lot of his silver at spot. So I'm going to try and buy a lot of that in the next week or so. But usually you just go to a silver shop. If anybody is interested in some of that, like, yeah, there's a little more risk buying from an individual instead of a shop, but it'll be a better price, and I'm not going to be able to buy all of it because I think he's selling like 400 ounces.
I know there's, I'm not sure what if there's any shops here in Pocatello. There's probably one in Idaho Falls, but
yeah,
there's just mainly like jewelers and shit here.
Oh,
and it's not really the precious metal market. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd have to go in there and talk to them though and see what they're doing. But I doubt that they have like what is it called, a Jonas ounce, a Jonathan ounce,
a Troy ounce.
Yeah, Troy ounce.
Yeah, because that's what you want.
They wouldn't be
I'll
really.
go to the coin shop here, and they have like, you'll be able to get generic rounds like this, and then there's also, they have weird collectible shit which I don't really care about, or like the more expensive bars. Like, just to me anyway, I'm just like, I just want as much silver as I can at the low price.
You don't care if it's like a commemorative Ben Franklin silver coin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anybody's going into a silver shop, that's what I'd recommend. Just ask for generic rounds or generic bars.
Yeah,
and they're generally a good price. I think at a silver shop is just $1 over spot for silver, and maybe like, I don't know what it'll be for gold. I haven't been buying a lot of gold.
I did just think about
10-gram bar they were doing here. It was only like 10 over spot, which is great, but it's probably going to be more than that most places.
Yeah, especially here. I think the only options really, at least in Pocatello, because I know Idaho Falls and Boise definitely has shops, like actual shops, but there's pawn shops here, like a lot of pawn shops, And one that I've even been into, I know they have like silver and shit,
Nice.
but I don't know. It seemed like a really sketchy shop.
Oh,
You know, I mean, there's like a lot of shit. You're like, oh, this is definitely stolen.
dang.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe that's
But,
what you want. But
yeah.
if you're interested in, if you
I got
can't
some
find
silver.
any,
Fell off a truck.
yeah, if you can't find any there, I'd
Send me some. Well, do you ever buy any like online?
yeah, for sure.
Uh,
I'm just interested in buying from this guy mostly because it's such a good price, and also because like you can buy online, and get good prices, but they generally want you to pay like if you just pay with your credit card, it's going to be a pretty big premium.
Oh, true.
But there's certain ways you can pay them it'll be cheaper, and you can get a better, closer to spot price on it.
That's kind of what I'm thinking is like maybe online, probably not. See what physical stuff I can contact.
I'll look into it a little bit, and we'll post it on the Discord and stuff.
Right on. And I'll try to so the listeners be on the lookout. I almost forgot we were talking to the listeners. Be on the lookout. I'm gonna try to post more in the Discord.
Nice.
I kind of want to take the position as somebody who's like new to this and not really as into stocks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I said, like I'm in the party of the like getting in this year on Bitcoin. So if you're starting up this year, which most people will be,
yeah,
this is definitely a place to be at if you're starting off.
Also, if you're starting off right now, like there's always more opportunities. Like don't get all
don't act like
like you can go light this year and just wait for 2026, 2027. There's going to be more opportunities. This is a great opportunity, I think, to buy silver, and I should probably get the rhetoric going on that, because this might be one of your last chances, I feel like, to buy silver at around $30. Not that I think we're going to be going. There's going to be great opportunities to buy in the coming years too, because I mean, Camel has insane targets, which I think makes sense. And let's see, I'll go into that more in a minute. I guess that's all we really needed to look at in the charts was silver, gold. We could look at the stock market. I really haven't done that much. Oh, also, I have been buying some. Here, we'll just go look at the stock market really quick, because it doesn't happen often, but it can happen where you'll see stocks, Bitcoin, gold all run at the same time, and that will probably happen over the next little bit. I haven't really done as much analysis on the stock market. I have some positions in SQ or in QQQ and SPXL, but I haven't really done that much analysis there.
Yeah. I'm just pretty much holding on like my long term, like the ETFs and shit.
Nice.
For more of like that's always worked out for me too. It's like I know a lot of people are against like IRAs and stuff, and it might be something to just hold on to for right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take anything out.
Here, I gotta use the bathroom really quick then.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
That's all.
All right, there we go. We're back.
On the IRA front, there is like, I mean, there is like, you hear people say in the news, like, oh, the price of the dollar is going down, yada, yada, yada. Like, and then people even saying things about gold. And it's like, obviously, when you look at it, you can put yourself in a position to make actual money. So I would say just hold off. Definitely don't freak out and start selling, like, or taking money out of your IRAs just yet.
Yeah.
But like,
and I mean, I wouldn't expect to see like a lot of the problems I'm talking about will happen over years, not right now, but
yeah, definitely.
I mean, actually, in the near term, the dollar is going up, and it has been for some time. But I mean, obviously,
and it's like look further down the timeline, because a lot of what people are saying is it's not like tomorrow things are gonna fall apart.
Yeah.
So it's like don't have that mindset where this is like a couple of week camp or a couple of month transition. This is like the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Setting yourself up. So don't get too caught in these traps, this small-minded thinking or small view thinking.
Yeah.
That's the only advice I could say.
I will say, and now one thing I would recommend people look into is like Brent Johnson and all the, his theory on like the dollar milkshake. Because like right now it looks like the dollar's going up, and it looks like it'll probably continue to head up. And it looks like, the crash will probably be deflationary, actually. Kind of opposite of what people expect.
Yeah.
But that's really just because like the dollar is performing well relative to other currencies. Basically what's going to happen is likely before there is a serious debt issue, and before all this money is sucked up into real money like Bitcoin, gold, and silver, is that the dollar is going to go around destroying all these other currencies and basically sucking up all their liquidity into the dollar, making the dollar look like it's strong before there's eventually problems there. Because basically what happens when the US inflates this money is, to do trade with it and not be losing, other countries have to inflate their money even worse. Yeah. And then when that collapses, that money just runs to the dollar.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to go over, or I guess you were talking. What were you talking about? The retirement plans.
I was kind of just saying, hold on, don't get scared by anything some people are saying. Don't fall for these like obvious traps.
Yeah.
Of get rich quick. That's the only point I was trying to make.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm personally not. I don't have a retirement account. I don't plan to. I plan to hide precious metals in Bitcoin wallets. But I don't know.
For
I just feel like, at least in the long term, like ideally you don't want to depend on anybody, especially not the government, as I think people are finding out. Like, oh, I thought a government job would be really safe. Now they're cutting a lot of government jobs.
Yeah.
And then, like, if you look into, and I'll look this up right now just to show it, is average return, because the 401k is just based on the market's return. Average return of 401k is around 5 to 8%, and at some points in history you're losing money. Same with gold and silver. But average annual return on a 401k is around 5 to 8%, which is like great. You're beating inflation by a little bit. Awesome. But this can vary depending on market conditions. So basically you're just trusting somebody else to manage your money better than you think you can, which makes sense for certain points in history. And if you just want to focus on your work and instead of managing your money as much. But 5 to 8% on average. Average annual return, and gold has been around for longer than the 401k. I mean, for a lot of people, buying something like Bitcoin, which is similar, and I think it's like getting in on the early stages of gold. Not that, I mean, gold wasn't invented really, but Bitcoin's a similar thing, but since it's more recent, it is more speculative. But anyway, we can look at the average annual return for gold. Depends on the time period being considered, and if you are going through a great period in time, like say the 80s, you don't see gold perform as well. But over the past few thousand years, it's done better than anything. We go to all time, like that's gold. That's if you could have bought gold and, well, okay. What I will go over is it was illegal to have gold in the U.S. for a long time, which I think a lot of people don't know.
No, it was?
Yeah, but yeah, just say you buy in 75, you're buying for 150 an ounce, and we're at almost 3,000 an ounce now. Yeah, I didn't even know gold was legal for a while until like yesterday. I was researching this stuff.
Why was it illegal?
Here, I'll go into it in just a second.
That is crazy.
So let's see. I feel like I found this somewhere. Has gold been a good investment long term? I found some. If you average out like the past 100 years or whatever, I think it's like 12% or something like that. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, looking at the numbers, gold price appreciated from a fixed $35 price basically 100 years ago. No. Well, I should have had this figured out before the episode. I just didn't think of it. But yeah, 1980 to 2023 average return of 4.4%. But if you average it out over like the past 100 years, I think it's like 10. It's more like 10%. So you'd be just as well off, more than likely, and especially in bad economic times otherwise, holding gold.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to physically hold it, and you don't have to wait to use it.
Yeah.
Unless something happens like this. Executive Order 6102. Executive Order 6102 is an executive order signed on April 5th, 1933 by U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, forbidding the hoarding of gold coin, gold bullion, and gold certificates within the continental United States. And gold certificates actually used to be pretty widely used as like money, as this is proof that I hold gold on this piece of paper.
Okay.
Up until then, now they don't really exist anymore, other than like collectibles.
It's kind of like a check.
Yeah, I guess so.
A certificate of your hold. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and the order was made under the authority of the Trading with the Enemy Act of 1917, as amended by the Emergency Banking Act in March 1933. Not that anyone really cares about that, but
was that just to combat like the Great Depression?
Yeah,
it's kind of like fear over the hoarding.
Yeah, the official reason that we did it was apparently because we were on the gold standard at the time, and that's basically when we left the gold standard domestically, and we didn't officially leave it internationally, because we had the Bretton Woods Agreement, and then we leave the gold standard internationally in 71, I think, under Nixon. But yeah, at that time when they made gold hoarding illegal, I think it was up to like $100 of gold you could have, but in large amounts and other than jewelry and collectible coins, you had to turn your gold into the government, because the official reason was that people were hoarding gold and they needed to like stimulate the economy. That's what they told people. Like basically people were hoarding money.
Right.
By hoarding gold, but the actual reason is because the Federal Reserve, which is like since they were on the gold standard, they were allowed to print money, but they needed a 40% backing of gold to do so. So they were allowed to print Federal Reserve notes, which, like, these are Federal Reserve notes. But they needed a 40% backing of gold, and by the late 20s, they'd almost run out of the backing of gold needed to print more money. So what they did, because the Treasury there's like the Treasury, which is a government, which is part of the government.
Yeah.
But the Federal Reserve isn't. It's basically the government's bank, but it's
Okay.
It's like a quasi-government organization, but it's pretty much private. Like the seven members of the Federal Reserve Open Market Committee, they're government employees, but the banks themselves, the Federal Reserve banks and the employees, it's all private. And wait, where was I going? Okay, so anyway, what they basically did, because they wanted to print more money because they were in the Depression, and the critics of turning all the gold in were like, this is immoral and it should be, illegal because of the Gold Standard Act of 1900. And, people were like, this is going to lead to inflation of supply and credit of currency, which is true. And it's what happened and it got even more extreme since then. But yeah, basically what they did is they took all the gold, and the gold was owned by the Treasury, and they gave gold certificates to the Federal Reserve, and then the Federal Reserve could print more money. But also what they did was they revalued it. So they paid people $20 an ounce for the gold that the public turned in, and then they sold it to the Federal Reserve for $35 an ounce. And then the Federal Reserve printed a bunch of money based on that. And somewhere in between then, gold was revalued to $42 an ounce. But since then, it hasn't been revalued by the Federal Reserve. And the Treasury hasn't had them do that. And, now we're at almost 3,000 an ounce.
Dang.
And the government hasn't accounted for the price change in gold, which is something people are talking about more and more. Because if they did account for that, all of a sudden the government would have like an extra $800 billion.
Yeah.
But let's see. You can go to the Federal Reserve website, and it says the Federal Reserve does not own gold. The Gold Reserve Act of 1934 required the Federal Reserve System to transfer ownership of all its gold to the Department of the Treasury. In exchange, the Secretary of the Treasury issued gold certificates to the Federal Reserve for the amount of gold transferred at the then applicable statutory price for gold held by the Treasury. Gold certificates are denominated in US dollars. The value is based on the statutory price for gold at the time the certificates are issued. Gold certificates do not give the Federal Reserve any right to redeem the certificates for gold. The statutory price of gold is set by law. It does not fluctuate with the market of gold and has been constant at $42, or $42.02 or $42.2222 per fine troy ounce since 1973. So 1973 they revalued gold from 35 to 42, and they allowed people to own it again. So yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of that made sense, but
no, it did. It's just, yeah, it's kind of strange.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it really is. And
something I didn't know about. It's like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, limitations on gold were repealed by Gerald Ford after Nixon in 1974. But yeah, and that's also another thing to take note of. Let's see. If we go back to $1 from like 100 years ago, yeah, series of 1929, you can see it says redeemable in lawful money of the United States at United States Treasury or at the bank of issue. So that basically means you could exchange it for gold.
Yeah.
or silver. Yeah.
Crazy.
And then, on a new dollars, it doesn't say that. What it does say is this note is, well, people know what it says, but this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. So this isn't real money anymore. It's just debt.
Yeah. That's funny. That's a funny way to put it.
Yeah. And then if there's eventually a debt issue where people don't trust the debt anymore, and especially countries don't trust the debt anymore, like China, which has been selling off its U.S. debt, its treasuries, or it's, the bonds, the cash, it's all Federal Reserve debt or U.S. debt. And if people start selling that off, countries start selling that off, and they start buying gold, and then there's a problem with U.S. debt and nobody wants it anymore, people are really going to start running to the opposite of debt, which is real hard money like silver, gold, and Bitcoin that you can physically hold. That's the idea anyway, but who knows? The other thing to go into is that a lot of people now are thinking that the U.S. may actually revalue that gold for the first time since 1974, whenever that was, from $42 to $2,800 or wherever we're at, which would really let people know that like gold still has a lot of meaning.
Yeah.
And we'd probably see a lot of price increase from there. Camel's been talking about like in the next 10 years, he thinks we'll see like 10,000 an ounce at least, and probably into the hundreds per ounce per silver with silver, which would make sense if all that liquidity starts to get sucked up into places like that.
Yeah. Dang, dude. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, like how a lot of people write gold off and say that it's failing and it's not
a boomer metal.
Yeah.
When it's like outperformed most retirement accounts and stuff.
Yeah. Definitely gold is underrated.
Yeah.
Precious metal.
The other thing I would go over that's been happening recently is, because people always used to say like, dang, the price of precious metals is being suppressed by the banks and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really understand how this was happening, but basically the price has been suppressed by the paper market. Like, what's been happening recently, and it's probably one of those instances where like, a couple banks fail and they patch it up, they fix it, and then you have a big crash years later. And we've kind of seen this happen in the gold market recently, where like the RBA, Australia's Reserve Bank, which all these countries have their gold stored in like London, or like the US has a lot of it. I don't know if the US has other countries' gold, actually. I should look into that. But a lot of countries have their gold stored in London for like doing trade and stuff. But Australia went in to audit the gold, and a lot of it was like fake, or it wasn't there.
Funny.
And basically what's going on is all of this gold, similar with like the ETFs, like, and I still own a lot of Nugget, a lot of AGQ, just because then I don't have premiums, and I can easily, sell and buy it, trade it whenever I want to, which is nice. So there's definitely upsides to owning gold or gold miners in an ETF. And there actually might not be anything wrong with owning like a mining stock. But if you say you're holding GLD, which is just a gold ETF of like backed by gold bars held in London. Those physical ounces have been lent out many, many times over. Some people think it's like an average of like 124, which I don't know if that's true. That'd be crazy. But those ounces have been lent out many times over to basically have the appearance, and they've done this with silver too, that there's way more gold and silver in the world than there actually is.
Yeah.
And if people start to realize that, and people start to rush to buy physical, and all of a sudden the physical price is way over what the spot price is, what the paper trading price is, then you're gonna see, you might see real crazy price increases in precious metals up to what the price actually should be. I don't know if that makes sense, but
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Basically, I'm not against owning gold or silver on the stock market. It's just not. There might be serious problems with the paper gold and silver markets in the future.
there's like there's just disadvantages to it over like the advantages of owning physical. It sounds like it outweigh the volatility of like stocks. It
Yeah.
seems like, but that makes that like obviously because it's you can hold it. It's yours to have.
Yeah.
Um,
And also, like Western countries, they just haven't really viewed precious metals recently or in recent history as, this is real money that you hold. They've more viewed it as a hedge or a financial asset, whereas, Eastern countries are building up their supplies of it, and they're viewing it as like, this is real money. We hold this forever.
Exactly.
And if the U.S., decides to revalue gold. Anyway, basically there's a lot of reasons to think that in the next decade we're gonna see gold and silver significantly revalued, and physical gold and silver are really gonna be the place to be. I'm sure there was a way I could have put that more concisely, but
I mean, yeah, but it makes sense what you're saying.
this is a real deal,
Yeah.
This is
legit.
what counts. Anyway, this is what Atlantis 2 will be built on.
Nice. But hell yeah, dude. I think with that's a good place to end it.
All right.
Got a good amount of financial advice, good amount of spiritual advice.
Yeah. Also, if they didn't have the Federal Reserve and they weren't allowed to just print money like this, I feel like there wouldn't be a lot of these major problems.
Yeah.
If you just kept the money tied to something real, you wouldn't be allowed to do anything crazy.
Right.
But
yeah.
All right.
It's the way
That
she goes.
probably wasn't a regular podcast. I was kind of all over the place explaining that, but
no, it's all right because
this is a Congress meeting. It's just supposed to be informational discussion. We're trying to
like I went off on a kind of a bit of a tangent with some other shit, but we came back to the finance. We went hard.
Yeah.
I think we gave the viewers a long one. All right, they should feel blessed.
Yeah.
They could listen to this shit for hours. Because we recorded for like 3 hours now.
All right, hell yeah.
It seems like.
All right, maybe we'll have a new episode in the next couple weeks. That'll be a little bit, a little bit more calm and focused. But this is a Congress meeting. This is about, big shit is going to be going down in the next.
Yeah.
In the next.
You can't summarize the future. You can't summarize glorious future. This is season 3 premiere.
Yeah, we got millions, billions of dollars to make to build Atlantis 2 in the next few years. So,
yeah, dude. So that's our new thing too. It's like I got millions of dollars to make, bitch. Why would I be worried about that?
Yeah, I heard on War Mode we're going to war with China in 2027. So I'm not. We got to be ready to buy some boats. Get the fuck out of here.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
All right.
To the viewer, stay safe.
Welcome to season 3. This is how this shit goes now.
Yeah. To the viewers, stay safe out there. Make the right decisions. Think long term. And don't let your happiness be affected by the outcome of things. Stay victorious, stay steadfast. All right.
There we go. Welcome to the glorious future.
Welcome, season 3.
Bam.